I started snorkeling creeks because I was curious what was underneath the water where I was fishing and how many fish I was actually missing. Now I probably snorkel more than I fish because I love watching fish in their natural environment, and also I don't have to lug around a bunch of fishing gear. If you enjoy fishing, I suggest that you try out snorkeling. So if you're new to snorkeling, here are basic tips that'll help you out while you're snorkeling in a creek. Tip number 1, buy a good snorkeling mask. This mask that I have is anti-fog, so it doesn't fog up while I'm snorkeling. And also it's one piece, so it's one cohesive unit. Second tip is snorkeling in clear water. A good rule of thumb of this is when the water is knee deep, that you could see your toes and you could see your shoes in the water. This gives you pretty good visibility around 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet, and it'll allow you to see more fish. So snorkeling in clear water is definitely going to increase your chances of seeing cool fish, make for a more exciting snorkeling trip. Tip number 3. So while you're snorkeling, you want to be making sure that you're snorkeling upstream rather than downstream. So if you're snorkeling upstream, the sediment's going to be flowing and it's going to give you clear water. But if you're snorkeling downstream, so your body's moving with the current of the water, that's going to kick up sediment, it's going to kick up rocks, and it's going to make really murky water and also scare fish a lot easier than if you're snorkeling upstream. So while you're snorkeling, go upstream rather than following it downstream, and you can see that water gets a little bit kicked up. That murky water makes it harder to see fish and not as good of a snorkeling experience. Tip number 4. An important aspect of snorkeling is making sure that you're able to see fish. So make sure you pick quality fish habitat where fish are likely to be to snorkel. So you might want to pick high riparian zones with undercut banks from big trees, such as this big sycamore tree. If you pick these high quality habitat, more than likely you'll get more fish to record, you'll see more fish, and it'll be a better snorkeling experience. You really want to find those fishy habitats, the deeper pools, maybe undercut banks where fish may be sitting. So you can see that we have a little bit of a run and then a riffle right here. So we have a riffly habitat where it's hard to snorkel, hard to get your body in while you're in a creek. But above this riffle, there should be a nice pool. Yep, so right up here, then it leads up into a pool. And throughout here should be great snorkeling. Should be a bunch of different fish species, lots of cool stuff that you could actually snorkel. And also a lot of this woody debris and log jams, fish like that as habitat. They use that for protection and also hiding. So wherever you do find your log jams, you could definitely find a bunch of fish too. So log jams, deep pools are great places to start snorkeling and seeing fish. Tip number 5. When you are snorkeling, make sure to stay still and do not make any fast movements because this will likely scare some fish. If you stay still for long enough, the fish will come to you because they are generally very curious. You could also use fish attractants such as dough, bread, or worms. Observing fish feeding is also a cool experience. Tip 6. Today is a beautiful day to go snorkeling. It's about 90 degrees in Northeast Ohio, and it is super warm, so you could snorkel for a very long time without the use of a wetsuit. However, when it gets a little bit colder, using a wetsuit and a wetsuit that's graded for the certain temperature of water will help you stay out longer, and it'll also make snorkeling a little bit easier. Tip 7. Use a GoPro or an underwater camera to record what you see. I also noticed that using a handheld grip records better underwater videos than if you mounted the camera on your snorkeling mask. I love watching the footage back of my snorkeling trips. You'd be surprised at all the different fish species you could see while snorkeling. I hope these tips help you when you're getting into snorkeling, especially in freshwater creeks. I hope you can get out and try these tips out on your local creek, and hopefully you get to see some fish. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time.